Hello, hello. It is week 4 of film and culture class. This week we are talking about sound in film. And the first question that I'm going to answer is, how does sound design contribute to the film's narrative? And I like to think of sound design as a magnifying lens, but for the ears. It enhances the mood of a story. There's a whole psychology behind sound and music, but even in manipulating everyday sounds like the Foley artists do, our attention and even our emotions are directed. The second question is, how do different types of sound and music affect the mood, tone, and pacing of a film? So when you read a book, you have to imagine the sounds. So I love when books become movies, especially when they become award-winning movies. So there are a couple that I wanted to address here. First, it's in The Lord of the Rings. There is a moment when Frodo is dying, and the elf, Arwen, she shows up, and there is this angelic sound in the atmosphere as she begins to approach him, and her voice has this very ethereal sound to it, and it just really brings this peace and calming mood to the scene, which is interesting because the scene is actually in a very fiery, dark, and there's a lot of fear in that scene. And so for her angelic and ethereal appearance and voice, and for the sounds of like the angel singing in the background to be able to cut through all of that fire and dark and fear, it's a very powerful moment. So the other book that became a spectacular movie is The Patriot. So despite what everyone else believes and feels, I think The Patriot is actually better than Braveheart. So I said it. But there is actually a moment where Mel Gibson's character, Benjamin, is he's advancing upon Colonel Tavington. And Colonel Tavington is on his horse, and Benjamin is on foot. And as he begins to approach him, there's these... Sorry, my computer is ringing. Hold on. Okay. So it was my husband. I had to decline that. But anyway, there's a brass instrument. I'm thinking it's probably a euphonium that begins playing, and it creates this really strong, heroic mood. So the other question is, what are some examples of films that have particularly good sound design or music? So good, like they say with beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. So I can just kind of give my opinion here. I don't know why, but my favorite soundscapes come from movies like The Secret Garden or Ever After, Little Women, and Downton Abbey. So I really like Cobblestone. I love the sound of it, especially when it's like horses' hooves going across cobblestone. I also really love the sound of rain and the fireplace. And so movies like these do a really great job of including those types of sounds. As far as music, my first CD ever was the Bodyguard soundtrack. I got it for Christmas with my very first CD player, and so it was a favorite of mine for years. But I'm going to admit something that only my mom and my husband actually know about me, and that is I get super emotional, choked up, tears, trying to fight them back to avoid embarrassment whenever I watch Disney trailers. Just the trailers. There's something about when the new Disney trailer is on the big screen and I just lose it. So the limbic system in the brain is the central of emotional activity. And I feel like every time a Disney trailer comes on, like I even watched one earlier for the Disney Wish that's coming out. And while watching it, it went straight to that limbic system, and just my emotions get all caught up in it. It's silly and kind of childish, but honestly, I love that about me. So, anyway, I could probably talk forever about sound in movies, but I am now at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, so my time is cut off. But I will see you guys next week.